Okay, here we back are working on something again. This is my Eager Beaver chainsaw by McCullough. Model's 2014. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's giving me problems starting. So I cleaned out the carburetor, found a carburetor rebuild kit, even though this was made in the early 90s. I actually found a carburetor rebuild kit and put a new carburetor rebuild kit in it. Was still having problems with it starting and running the way it should. So the next step, it was bogging down at high speed. So we figured that it was probably needing either fuel or fuel filter. So we went ahead and pulled the fuel filter out, and in doing so we broke the fuel line. So we knew the fuel lines were bad. It's been abused, sitting outside and everything. It's not supposed to do that, but it's been abused and not treated right. So put a new fuel primer bulb on it and put new fuel line on it. New primer bulb, new fuel line. Still giving us running problems, so I'm going to go back to the basics all over again. I figured I'd make a video show you a compression test. To somebody that turns wrenches like I do, compression test is a very basic, common thing, but this video is just going to show you how to do a compression test. And then we'll keep going on with it from there to try to figure out why it's still giving us running problems. Maybe we'll get the answers with the compression test. Here's my kit. Nothing special. Didn't go high name brand with this. Just a Craftsman kit for compression. And it's got instruction manual, order pamphlet to order new valves or new hoses or anything you need. I've never had to change anything on this kit, and I've been working on in 2 or 3 different shops and then working out of my garage for the past I'd say 11 years or 12 years, and I've had the same kit. So I mean, if you treat it right, it's a little dirty, but if you treat it right, you don't ever have to replace anything. Here's the spare parts in this kit. And I didn't have to spend a lot of money on this kit. Again, it's a very long time ago, but I believe it was only $60. And it tells you the heart of an engine. This video is more geared towards people that don't know about engines, but if you don't have compression, you don't have an engine. It's not, it won't start, it won't run. That's the key to it. Fuel, that's easy to fix. Spark, that's easy to fix, but if you don't have compression, I mean, you can still fix it, but at that point, especially with small engine stuff, you got to realize, is it worth it to put the money into it to fix it, as opposed to just buying something new. So either way, I've got multiple size extensions, multiple different diameter spark plugs. You could do automotive on this. So far, every single one I've worked on, with the exception of my car, one time I had to use this larger thread, but every small engine I've ever worked on uses this smaller thread, no matter what the spark plug size is, the M14. And this kit comes with all kinds of adapters to adapt it to different sizes, different lengths and everything. I've never even taken these two out. I've never taken that one out. And then this is just a coupler to change the end on your compression tester. This is the actual compression tester. It tells you what pressure you have inside your cylinder. We're in America, so I'm not going to use the kilograms. We use a PSI, which is the farthest out. Dial 50, 100, 150. It depends on what you're working on. You can look up specs online and see what it should have for compression. Generally, I like to see like a chainsaw without special pieces to it, like decompression valves and auto easy start and stuff like that. I'd like to see those above like 120. You get around 100, and that makes me think that there's internal problems, and you should probably pop the motor open to figure out what the internal problems are. Usually with a two-stroke engine, dirt bike, four-wheeler, snow blower, chainsaw, if it's got low compression like that, generally it's a ran hot situation where they didn't put enough oil in it, or if it's a dirt bike, they put the wrong spark plug in it, the hotter spark plugs. And I'll make a video if someone wants to explain different spark plugs. But you can burn your engine up on just a spark plug as well. So let's get back to this. On my model, the spark plug was right next to the handle. I had to pull the boot off. Couldn't get my fingers in there, so I had to use a flat blade screwdriver to pry it out. Couldn't even get pliers in there, so get the correct size on. I believe this one is 5/8, and I already loosened this one up, so it shouldn't be that easy on your machine. And then, judging by how wet this is, and then keep in mind that I haven't used this chainsaw anytime recently. You can't see it on here as well, but it's really wet. It's really black. That tells me either there is a compression issue, or more than likely there's probably a spark issue just by looking at this spark plug. It's not firing like it should. That shouldn't be wet. So we'll do a compression test, and then I'll make a separate video showing how to do a spark test, one way with a spark tester and one way without, so if you don't have the tool. Okay, so here's the compression tester. Thread it back into the same hole, and then the same as a standard air fitting on a compressor for your house. You pull back and slide it on. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that your choke is fully off. You want to get as much air in there for a good test as you can. And you want to have your throttle open as high as you can also. That will help with getting more air in there to get a true test. And when I went to school for small engines, more than 5 pulls is exercise. It's no longer trying to start it. So the goal is to get to its maximum PSI in 5 pulls or less. So see if I can zoom in on that compression tester. Alright, so let's see what this gives us. Okay. And the dial fell off to the side, but as you can see here, the engine has, as old as it is, it's still capable of 150 psi, which is I would say still a very good, strong engine, even though it's very old. That's the end of a compression test. We'll do a spark test next on a separate video. Just search on my channel. And and try to narrow it down and figure out what's wrong with this machine, especially with that high of a spark test or a compression test. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like the video. Thank you.